It's kind of a lifetime of experiences. I grew up around motorcycles. My dad had a Honda dealership from the 70s to the mid 80s. So I was on three-wheelers at a really early age, dirt bikes after that, and we always had bikes around the house till about the mid 80s when he sold the business. That's where the motorcycle aspect of the store comes in. You know, in the mid 80s, when he got out of that industry is when I picked up a skateboard. Skateboarding for me was always just something to do that was fun with friends. Living in South Louisiana, you know, we didn't have a lot of places to skateboard, but it was the beginning of street skating. So we were finding every ditch or, you know, curb and, you know, back of a grocery store that you had loading docks or something to skate. And, you know, that was a lot of fun, but that led me to graphic design. You know, we were always looking at the latest magazine that, you know, Thrasher or Trans World or whatever video we could get our hands on to, you know, see what was happening on the West Coast. And all of that stuff really had a lot of great graphic design involved. Fast forward, went to school for graphic design, and eventually ended up in Tampa as an art director. And after about 5 years, that was it. I had had enough. You know, in that industry, you're always working on someone else's passion or somebody else's project. And I felt like it was time for me to apply those skills to my own project, something that I was really passionate about. So I went back to skateboarding, and that's when I opened a retail store, Skate Spot. Opened it, just a store in 2000, really small, shoestring budget. Some credit cards, and you know, started from there. Started selling boards and wheels and trucks, some shoes, a couple of t-shirts, maybe a pair of jeans here and there. And the goal was to open a skate park with that skate shop. And we relocated the store into the skate park, and we did that till 2010. In 2006, my wife and I had twin boys, and they were born early. So with that came some complications. We decided to close up shop around 2010. Go back to 2008 was when I started kind of kicking around the concept of Reserve Supply Company. So just, you know, life's hand that was dealt. It was like, you know, you're going to be in a bigger city. You have this concept. It might be time to pull the trigger on it. I don't think you're ever ready to, you know, make big steps or leaps of faith like that. But it was something that Heather agreed to do with me and supported the concept and the idea and was on board. And we've never failed as a team. I began, you know, think beyond just the skateboarding. And there were some pro skateboarders that were tinkering with vintage motorcycles, and you know, there were a lot of parallels with riding motorcycles and skateboarding. They're both, you know, a bit of a thrill, a bit of a risk. Realize those parallels, and they both tend to be things that guys are interested in. And I started thinking, if I can align these two activities or passions that have inspired me along the way and build a store around that, I might have something. The name Reserve Supply Company, that's an interesting one because the skate park and the skate shop was called Skate Spot, a very specific skate spot. If you're a skateboarder, you have tons of skate spots. They're your go-tos to skateboard, whatever the feature or the obstacle is, that's your skate spot. So I wanted a name that was flexible. On motorcycles, there you have a reserve feature on your gas tank, and that was kind of the jumping point of that name. You know, the definition of reserve is something put aside or something special, something saved. So it kind of worked. So I went with Reserve, and you know, the supply company just followed in and made sense because we do a lot of things here. We do a lot of accessories, we do apparel, we do footwear, we do, you know, things that we use, things that brands that we like, yeah, things that make sense for guys that fall into the Reserve Supply Company customer. So our customer is, it's the guy that wants nice things but are still casual. I often struggled shopping, finding clothes that were suitable for the work environment. I was always in a creative field. Didn't necessarily have to wear a jacket or a tie or a button down for that matter to work, but wanted to be presentable and nice. Basically, the store is a reflection of me and the influences that I've had growing up. I still look at things from a design perspective, but I've never been a fashion guy. The fashion industry doesn't really, never really appealed or made sense to me. But a good long-lasting shirt or a pair of jeans or pants or shoes, appealed to me that look good aesthetically. The jean thing was kind of a funny story because the most expensive pair of jeans that I had ever sold at the skate park or skate shop was about 80 bucks. And I had a friend in the industry. We hadn't really worked together, but we had we had a relationship, and just that we were in the same industry. He was more involved in the apparel and men's accessories industry than the skate industry. And he helped me bring in a few brands. At the time, he was a sales rep for Red Wing boots. So, I knew right away we were going to stock Red Wing, but he was one of the first guys that showed me a brand that was doing raw denim out of California. They were in Sausalito. The brand was Tellison. And he said, "These are my friends. You should give these guys a call." And I was like, "Wow, they look great." The picture he showed me, the guy was wearing, a nice pair of jeans, but he had Vans skate highs on. So instantly I was like, yeah, I can get on board with this. But I asked him what they sold for, and he told me, they're like 200 bucks. And I was like, Rock, who buys jeans for 200 bucks, right? And he was like, well, I'll just have him call you and you can talk to these guys. And, so that whole raw denim thing in 2011, was just starting to get momentum, and people were seeking out raw denim brands. So I talked to the guys at Tellison, Pete Searson, Tony Patella, and that we had some similarities with influences at an early age in the 80s, growing up, skating, music, things like that. When we brought the jeans in, the first model they had was the Ankara. Instantly, people started seeking out raw denim. They heard that we were stocking raw jeans, and these guys had one pair. They were willing to partner with us. We were new and we were willing to take the chance, and they seemed like they had a good product. So we stocked the jeans and people started looking and showing up for them. There was another brand that we also stocked at that time. The Ankara from Tellison was a bit wider, a little looser fit. And I had discovered a brand called Railcar Fine Goods out of, at the time, they were out of Monrovia, California. What makes this fabric the fabric that holds up, and why these jeans are special or a little bit more durable, is because of the fabric that they're made of and the quality of the construction and the care and the machines that are used to build these jeans. Built our business, around selling jeans, and it made sense for our customer because, piece of clothing that every guy has in their closet, whether you're riding motorcycles or skateboarding or just hanging out, good jeans go a long way. There are a lot of brands in here that I have been familiar with for a long time, and they're brands that have been around for much longer than I've been around. Some brands have been here for over 100 years. Red Wing Boots, Filson. Again, rugged, durable products that have a nice aesthetic. There's brands like Vans that, I was introduced to from skateboarding that I still wear and feel very passionate about. We have mixed the assortment here quite a bit over the past 10 years. We've finally reached a point in our business where it's a little bit easier to partner up with brands. We're always super selective on the brands that we bring in. Super appreciative of the brands that do agree to partner with us. And now we are bringing in still new brands that may only be 10 or so years old, but fit the Reserve aesthetic. So it's a good mix. Jason Bruen, owner of Reserve Supply Company, located here in Houston, Texas, established 2011.